Hey everyone, so I briefly touched on this subject in my makeup tutorial for beginners. So this is a great little tip to prevent your foundation from separating on your face, causing patching around your nose, chin and forehead. So often when we reach for a foundation or a primer, we don't always pay attention to its ingredients. So the two main categories of foundation are water-based and silicone-based. You do get oil-based foundations, but they're very rare these days. And primers are either silicone-based or water-based. Now when you're doing your foundation and it ends up looking like mine here on the left, then there's a good chance you're using the wrong primer with the wrong foundation. As a rule of thumb, remember silicone to silicone, so silicone-based primer with a silicone-based foundation, and water to water, so water-based primer with a water-based foundation. So two examples here are the Rimmel Fix and Perfect foundation, which is a silicone-based primer, and the Too Faced Hangover Replenishing Face Primer is a water-based primer. So I'm going to show you how to tell which is which via the ingredients. So you're always going to see water as the first ingredient, but that's just what makes it liquidy. So just ignore the very first ingredient. So the first ingredient that indicates that this is a silicone-based primer is siloxane. So you'll often find this at the end of longer words. Another one is dimethicone. Anything with cone at the end, like trimethicone, which is this one, they also indicate that this is a silicone-based primer. And you will usually spot these in the first few lines of the ingredients as I'm pointing out on screen now. So moving on to the Too Faced primer, on the front it says it's silicone free, which is a massive indication, but if it doesn't specifically say silicone free, then look at the ingredients list. Again, water is the first ingredient, but if you look through the first few lines, it does not contain any siloxane, any dimethicone, so we know this is a water-based primer. And I'm now going to show you the same with the foundations. The Fit Me Concealer on the right is silicone-based foundation, and the Makeup Forever foundation on the left is a water-based foundation. It also says water blend on the front, which again gives you a good indication. So if we turn the Fit Me foundation over, we can see the first ingredient is aqua again, which we ignore. Directly underneath that is an ingredient that contains siloxane. There's also another siloxane ingredient underneath that, and if we carry on looking, we can see dimethicone. So by reading the ingredients, we can identify that this is a silicone-based foundation. Moving on to the water-based foundation, the ingredients aren't on the back of the actual bottle, so I'm going to show you the back of the packaging. Once again, we see aqua as the first ingredient, but as we make our way down the list, you can see there's nothing that contains any siloxane or methicone-based ingredients, and that confirms that this is a water-based foundation. So I'm going to do a little demo for you. I'm taking Benefit's Professional Primer, and although it's quite obvious it's a silicone-based primer by its texture, I've looked online at the ingredients and you can see that it is definitely a silicone-based primer. Over that I'm applying a water-based foundation. This is the same one by Makeup Forever, and as you can see, as you start to work it in, the foundation beads up. So the silicone primer works as a barrier, which means the foundation can't blend onto the skin. So it just sits on top, and throughout the day that's just going to continue to shift. This time we're taking a water-based primer. Again, this is the Too Faced Hangover Face Primer. And I'm going to take a very small amount and just work that into the skin until it's fully absorbed. And taking that same water-based foundation from earlier, we're going to work this over the top. As I blend it in immediately, you can see it doesn't bead on top of the skin. And this is because there's no silicone barrier preventing it from blending. So here side by side, you can see as I've instantly put that foundation on, they sit on the skin very differently. And that's because water doesn't mix over silicone very well. When I've made that mistake of applying the wrong foundation with the wrong primer, I've managed to pat it into the skin for a nice even finish, but it just doesn't last very well throughout the day. Here I'm going to show you a quick silicone on silicone application. I've applied some of the Professional to my hand, and now I'm using a silicone-based foundation over the top. You'll see as I start to work it in, there's no beading, there's no peeling of the foundation, it doesn't bobble up, it just goes on beautifully smooth, as does the water on water. Now remember, everybody's skin is different, we all react different to different products, so it's all trial and error, but this is just a tip for you to try if you're really struggling with your foundation separating or rubbing off of your skin. I really hope you guys have enjoyed this tip tutorial. Please hit subscribe if you haven't already done so. My social handles are on screen if you'd like to follow me outside of YouTube, and my previous tutorials also on screen if you've missed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!